Thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking about teams, and we have Rafael Supa, who's our resident teams expert. So thank you guys for joining us today. Before we get started, if you are new to any of our Tech Tuesday sessions, we are recording the session. So if you miss anything and need to go back and rewatch how to do something, we'll be sending you a link to the video later on today using the email address that you gave us when you registered. You can also ask questions at any time in the chat. You just hit the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom window and you can type in any questions you might have. We are expecting a large crowd, so we've turned off microphones just for, to limit any background noises, but you can always ask questions at any time using the chat button. So without further ado, I am going to hand it over to Rafael. Rafael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks for the intro, and thank you everyone for joining this session as well. Just give me one moment, please. I'll go ahead and share my screen so I can share the presentation that we have to start the meeting.
Looks good.
All right, so can you see that, Vanessa?
Yep, perfect.
All right, great. So yeah, this session is focused on Microsoft Teams, which is part of our O365 suite of applications and services. We'll go through the agenda. We'll talk about briefly what Microsoft Teams is, some of the main features of Teams, where you can go for further help, and we'll save some time at the end for a Q&A session. But before we jump into the main presentation, we'd like to kick it off with a quick poll, if you guys don't mind. Just curious as to what everyone's experience with Microsoft Teams and O365 is so far, specifically Teams though. The poll will be right in the Zoom app. Just give that a minute for everyone to get a chance to answer.
I'll give it another few seconds. I see almost everyone is answered.
All right, great. Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for those answers, folks. So it looks like the majority of folks have not, well, actually have used it and are just interested in learning more, which is great. Hopefully we can talk about some topics that you can bring back to work and get better at using Teams. Some people that don't use it too often, that's great too. Maybe you'll use it more and never used it, great. Hopefully we can, with what we show you, you can get a good start in using Microsoft Teams. So we'll close down the poll now. So what is Microsoft Teams? In brief, Teams is just basically a hub for team collaboration. It's one of Microsoft's core services within O365 currently. It's really the evolution of Skype for Business. If anyone is familiar with that older product, we used to have that as well for one-on-one chat and group chat. Teams is basically the latest version of that product from Microsoft, but it's now a much more full-featured application, which allows what used to be one-on-one chat, group chat, but now grows into file sharing and collaboration and scheduling, third-party app integration, and just just sort of a one-stop team collaboration tool. Why use Microsoft Teams? Well, in short, Microsoft Teams as an application just makes it easy for everyone to collaborate from a single application, collaborate in real time, like I said, using chat, or even on sharing a document and working in real time on editing a document. Teams inherits functionality, like I said, from Skype for Business. Microsoft has now retired Skype for Business, so it's not even available any longer. Teams is persistent. You can transition your conversations between desktop, mobile, and web, and pick up your work wherever you go. So it's great for working on the run. And you're able to start using Teams without any ITS intervention. So basically everyone is already enabled for Microsoft Teams as part of our O365 deployment. You already have it. You have the license, and you can begin collaborating. You can collaborate with anyone internally within Weill Cornell, as well as it has external collaboration abilities. So all the major partner institutions are already enabled for what's referred to as guest access. They can be invited as guests into our Teams environment, as well as all the, for example, the EDUs, educational institutions are enabled as well. And we can talk about that a little bit more later as well. But you get all that, in essence, all those services in one single application, which is great. How do you get Teams if you have not used it before? So if you have a Windows PC, you can use IBM BigFix, open up the BigFix app and search for Teams and pull it down that way. On a Mac, you can use self-service or the Jamf tool, and it should be available there as well. If you are on a mobile device, you can just go to the corresponding app store for your provider. And Teams is a popular product in each of the app stores, so you can pull it down from there. And of course, you'll have to log in with your work email address. So for example, you can log into your O365 web portal, log in as you normally would. And Teams is also there as a web application. And once you log in, you can begin using Teams from the web. Pretty much the same features as the full application, and you'll have an option there as well to download or start up the desktop app. Desktop app does give you a few more features. It's sometimes a little bit easier to use if you are working on a full desktop. Just one word. So if you are not on the Weill Cornell network, so if you're not in the office or not on VPN, you will be prompted to log in with Duo, just like any other of the O365 apps. But if you are at work or on VPN, you should be able to just log in with your account and password. Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and start the demo. Okay, so once you are logged on, I'm logged into a demo account here. You should be presented with the primary view, which is your teams and chats. The default is your various teams. If you're a new user, obviously you may not have much here. You may not be part of many teams yet, but perhaps one of the first things you want to do is create a new team. And a team is just in essence a great way to have your department collaborate. So you can think of it as a tool for departmental or project team collaboration, and it's best to group things that way. So to create a team, you would click down here, join or create team. And I'm sorry, folks, just give me 1 second. I'll stop my video. It's a little bit distracting, at least for me. So join or create team, and you have these options here: create team, join team with a code. And you should see some other teams here available. These would be the public teams. We'll talk about that in a minute. You can have teams that are public or private. Most of them are private. That's why I'm not seeing much here. But if you would like to create a team, you can click on this button here, create team. And because we are an educational institution, we have what's known as an educational license type with Microsoft O365. So the types of teams that are available to us are more of the educational types. So for example, you can have a team that's geared more towards a classroom. This just means that some of the tools that it comes with are typical of a classroom situation. Professional learning community, staff, or just other generic. Now, any one of these could be customized once you create it, but for just general sort of faculty, team usage, I typically go with staff, and you would just give it a name. I think I've been through a few of these, so I'll do 3 for testing. And here's your privacy settings, so you can choose whether the team is private or public. And again, private would be where it's not available for people to browse and freely join. So if it's more of a internal department, you may wish to leave it as private. And that would be for the work group and the members that you invite specifically. So for this case, I'll leave it as private, and I'll click on next. And the system will create the team. And from here, you can begin to add members, or you can skip this step. Just for demo purposes, I'll add Vanessa again to this new team. So all I have to do is start typing her name and click her name. And I can add others here as well. But for now, let's just leave Vanessa. And that's it. So now I have a new team, Teams Demo 3, with a general channel. What's under the team is called a channel. Just a quick word about that. So the team at the top level, it's more of a top level designation, and the team can have multiple channels. For example, general, or I can create new ones, and that's basically breaking down the topic of that work group into more specific items. So, for example, if it's something related to planning, an outing for the summer, maybe finance would be one of the channels. So it just helps to break down the topics of conversation within the team and the work group. So for demo's sake, let me jump back into Tech Tuesday Prep, which is where we already have some work going on. Just wanted to show you that once you have the team going and you invited your members, you can go ahead and start to chat. So to begin a new conversation, you can just click on the new button here and type in some text. And in this case, the whole team, whoever's invited to this team, will see that text. If I wanted to get someone's attention specifically, thanks for that, Vanessa, I can do an @ mention, similar to other social platforms, I guess. So I can, we have another colleague here. Not sure if they're all on, but that's basically a kind of like a shoulder tap, to someone else. That just makes sure that they will get that notification. They'll see it in their activity feed that they're @ mentioned specifically for this team. So just improves your chances of getting a reply for that person. Just one quick word about team naming guidelines. So as you can see here, thanks for that, Johnny. We have some various team names. I would recommend, because this can get a little bit busy, I would definitely recommend having names that are kind of clear and appropriate for your project or department. So, sometimes some sort of name where the project name is shown within the team name, your department description and/or location perhaps is good as well. I would definitely stay away from making it too generic, like something like test, or just personal names and things like that. You definitely want to keep the names as concise and appropriate as possible. So once you have a conversation going, there are several options to reply. If you hover over the chat, there's some basic emoji icons that I can reply with. So I'll give Johnny thumbs up here. So these are reactions. I can go ahead and click on the ellipses for a more full menu. And here I have options to save the message, delete it, mark as unread, etc. One cool thing is that you even have translate. So if you do collaborate with folks who are from different locations, maybe different countries, Teams has a built-in option where it will recognize the other language and translate it for you. So that's pretty cool. You can also pin the message to if it's something important to find it later, and on and on. There's some more advanced options as well. I can do more formatting, and definitely there's more options as far as the conversation. So, for example, let's start a new conversation, and if you look down here, there's a formatting button, attach files, etc. So let's just go through those briefly. If I click on the formatting, also known as rich format button, I get options here to do some cool stuff with some really nicely formatted text if I would like. So you can start typing some text, and there's different formatting tools for the fonts, paragraph. This could be a new conversation or an announcement. So for example, if this is a larger team that just requires an announcement, sort of a one-way announcement, I can do that too. And that'll be sort of like a bigger headline, more visible, and many other options like that. Let's leave this as a conversation. I can shift enter to include a new line. I can include a table, for example, to start formatting some data to share with the team, the group here. Mark it as important. So really many of the similar formatting features as you would get in in Outlook email or Excel even. Just makes it easier to collaborate on data. So for now, I'll go ahead and discard this. Let's go back to new and attach. So I can attach a file, and I can browse from any of the recently shared files or browse other teams and channels. I can even browse my OneDrive repository. So choose files from my OneDrive for Business that I already have stored there, or just upload files from the C drive on my computer. Just one word about sharing files. Once the files are uploaded here and shared with the team, they do go into the files tab. If you look at the tabs over here at the top, so we have a few files already. And this makes it easier to kind of consolidate and show you all the files that have been shared if you need to go back to them and do some further collaboration. So the nice part about this is that these files are stored in SharePoint as the backend storage. So you can go ahead and do some management of for example, open in the full app, make it a tab, copy link, fully download, etc. Or I can choose to open in SharePoint if I need to do some more management and organize these files perhaps in a different way. Just to show you what that looks like, I have a browser tab already open, and when I open that files tab in SharePoint, it's just basically a SharePoint online window showing me the site that's been created for this team and the files that are there. And from there, I can definitely do more things such as additional sharing, send a link to other people, rename, create new folders, new files, and reorganize these files in any way I choose. So I just wanted to point that out because it is sometimes a little bit more powerful than managing and organizing the files here. So again, all the files, they're stored in SharePoint. You can feel free to work on them here or in the SharePoint online window. Let me pause there real quick, Vanessa. I'll pause, see if there's any questions that have come up at this point.
Yeah, we've gotten a few. This one's a two-parter. How would I know if someone responded in the chat? And then the second part is, does the app always have to be open in the background to receive notifications?
I'm sorry. What was the first question? How would you know if?
Oh, how would I know if someone responded in the chat, like with the notification settings, maybe how you can know that somebody's replied to something you've posted?
Okay, that's great. Yeah, great question. We can look at the notification settings. So in essence, if you're looking at the chat, it'll just pop up as part of this conversation thread. So if people I keep replying using the reply button here, it'll be part of the same top level hello world thread, or a new conversation would be the start of a new thread. Now for the notifications, there are specific settings per channel. So if I click on the ellipses next to the channel name, so general, ellipses settings in this case, and channel notifications, I can change the way these notifications come in. So for example, if I want to be aware of or made aware of all activity, so any post, replies, and mentions, I can go here and click on that. Or if the channel is too noisy, I can turn that off. Or I can have custom settings. So if I click custom and just let it load for 1 second. So just some more settings here where I can go and choose whether I want a banner and show in feed for all new messages, or only show in feed, or turn them off. Channel mentions, that's when the channel itself is mentioned with an @ I'll show you guys how you can do that in a minute. But yeah, there's various notification settings. That's per channel. There are also notification settings at the application level. So if we go up to the top here, ellipses menu on the general application settings and notifications, I have even more notification options here where I can change notification style, choose to show message preview or not, etc. And then for each team and channel, the level of notifications that I would like to see, and in this case, it's custom. So you can go in here and tweak that if you do find that the channel may be too noisy, for example. Okay. I'm sorry, Vanessa, was there a part 2?
Yeah. So if you don't have Teams on, if you shut down the application and somebody tries to message you, can you get a notification at all?
So if Teams is not on, so if the application is just closed, it still runs in the background. So you should see you might see a banner, or I guess a banner icon status on the app, or if it's on Windows, more likely in your taskbar, the small icons down here, or perhaps if you have the Teams app on your mobile device, then you'll certainly get the notification there. So you can check either mobile if you're not on your desktop PC.
Is it on default that you'll get the notification in your Outlook, or if you don't respond, or if you receive it when the app is closed?
No, so you should not get email notifications for each message, all the back and forth that goes on in Teams. It would be, probably too many emails. So I think by default that is off.
Okay.
I'm sorry, real quick. So you would get an email notification, for example, if someone adds you as a new member to a new team, then you would get an email notification. This way you can follow that link and, click into that team.
Awesome. I'll just do one more, just because I know you have some other stuff to cover, and we'll take the rest at the end. Within the subgroups of a team, can you choose specific members? So for example, under WCMIT, can the subgroup major incidents have different members than general?
So that's another great question. So by default, no. So all the channels within the team will be accessible by all the members of the team, except for when the channel is private. So that's a relatively new feature that Microsoft has, and we have one here. So let's try to create one. So if we go to manage the team and add channel, we'll call it privacy test, and we can click on private as the channel type. And in that case, I can choose specific members. See, here we go, add members to the privacy test channel. So I can add only specific members to that channel because it is private. So that's one way to have a channel that is not accessible by everyone in the team. But by default, yes, it's, the tool is meant as an overall collaboration where all the members of a team or work group have access to everything that goes on in it, except for a private channel. Okay. Hope that helped answer the question, Vanessa.
Yeah, definitely. I'll save some because there's some questions about general kind of Office 365 questions. So I'll save a few of those for the end.
Okay, great. Now, one other thing I wanted to go over is when you click on reply and you have all these options, one of the other options is to either schedule a meeting or go straight into a meeting, the little camera icon. So Teams makes it very easy for you to jump right into either an audio or a video call, and this would be with all the members of the team. So if it's a large team, dozens of people, then that may not be a great idea, but to do as an ad hoc meeting. But you can click on schedule, and that'll drop you into the calendar app of Teams, where you can, same as an Outlook, create an appointment and schedule a Teams meeting. And the calendar, by the way, is integrated with Outlook Calendar. So once you do that, it'll populate in Outlook as well. You'll have a reminder there as well. And it uses voice over IP, video over IP. So you don't need any special connections, just camera and microphone, and you're ready to go. I realize that we use Zoom, quite a bit, more so we can continue to have scheduled meetings in Zoom. That's totally fine. But Teams is pretty good for I would say ad hoc or these quick meetings that you just may want to have, and we can get into that in a minute, where you have for example, a one-to-one or one-to-two chat in a private chat room, where you can also jump to a meeting. So that icon is available here too, Meet, and you can do either an audio or video meeting. So speaking of chats, so the chat icon, as opposed to a team, this gives you the ability to have a one-on-one, more private chat with someone. So here I have a chat with Vanessa. Very similar options. I can do rich formatting. I can react to what she's saying. And as I was saying, you can also do a meeting directly with your invitee here, either a video call or just an audio call. So you can have that ability to meet right away. One other cool thing that I didn't show is, so as you see, there are basic reactions here, but if you choose, you can also click on the GIF icon and search for something a little bit more funny. There's GIFs, there's stickers, and other tools, to have a little bit of fun in Teams. So that is one great thing. Another thing to show is the what's known as the pop-out feature. So let's say, you're spending a bunch of time, chatting with someone, but there's other things that are going on within Teams, right? So you may have other chats and other workgroup activities. So what I can do in that case is pop out this chat with Vanessa, so I can have a separate window. And in this window, I can go back to my team view, channel view, where these chats are going on. And then I can see both. So I can chat with Vanessa or other people in a more private way, and then have the team collaboration as well. And any of these windows can be popped out like that. So that's a pretty cool feature. Or I can just close it. Okay. In private chats, there's the concept of delivered receipts and read receipts. When you see something with and a little eyeball icon, that means it's been seen. So in essence, that is a read receipt, and that could also be changed in the application settings. I can go ahead here and let's say I want to expand the topic. I'm chatting here with Vanessa, but if I would like to invite others, I can click on the add users or add people button. And let's say I want to invite another colleague. And this is now a total 3-person chat, myself and 2 colleagues. And this has started basically a new chat because it's changed the amount of recipients. Okay. Speaking of polling, I know when we started this meeting, we did a Zoom poll. So one interesting trick is that Teams allows you to do polling as well. So let's say if you're collaborating with a work group with your team, and you would like to ask them, to vote on a topic or create a quick poll, you can do that as well. And the way to do that is, I'll show you guys. So you can type in any text here, start a conversation. But here you would want to go to the ellipses, and the Forms app should be available. So basically, it's an app integration. You click on Forms, and by default, it jumps into sort of like a polling type of app. So here, I can do a new question, new poll. So let's say we want to ask what the next Tech Tuesday should be. And then I have I can various options. So we want to do Teams again, or maybe OneDrive. Or I can add an option. Let's say we want to talk about Outlook. And I can choose whether I want to share aggregated results and record the names of respondents or not, or leave it anonymous. We can leave it like this. Preview the poll and send. And that's it. I have a quick poll that I did right in Teams and shared with my team, which is my work group, everyone who's part of this team. Okay, pause there again, Vanessa. Any more questions coming in?
Oops, sorry, I was on. Yes. Give me 1 second. There are a ton actually.
Oh, wow.
Are there any benefits to creating a team versus a group chat?
So yes, I would say that a team is much more persistent. If, for example, you know that some of the files and ideas that you share in the work group, you would want to keep for a long time. The group chat could be deleted, so it's not as persistent. Although some group chats last a very long time, unless you remove them or take yourself out, then they'll live there. But a team is just much more persistent. In addition to that, the team does give you a few more options as far as adding tools and tabs. So again, if we look at the tabs over here, so we talked about posts, and we discussed using files and collaborating on files. We have other tools. If I click on Add tab, so for example, I can add different applications that are integrated into Teams. So for example, I can link to the Lists app, or there is the ability to add a calendar. So if I want to do some scheduling, with the work group, I can do that. OneNote is very popular, to take notes and keep track of, let's say certain tasks for the team, whiteboard, etc. So yeah, lots more tools. Anything else, Vanessa?
Yeah, there was a question about how do I restrict a file or document in OneDrive from showing up in Teams? I think you have to just manually add that, correct? Like it's not by default just showing up in a team.
Right. So yeah, OneDrive is meant to be kind of personal, private storage, for your own account, as opposed to a team/group, which is for collaboration with the group. So unless you add your OneDrive file into the team, it's already separate. The two are not they're not by default joined.
We have gotten some questions about like OneDrive versus Teams versus SharePoint, for example. I didn't know if you had other things you wanted to share in Teams before I got to those questions, or if you'd like me to do that now.
Just one thing that I wanted to show Vanessa real quick regarding the Files tab. I just wanted to demo just file collaboration real quick. So what I'll go ahead and do is, one of these files that we're working on within our team here, I'll go into it. I don't know if you can maybe go into it as well on your end, but just wanted to show that you can edit files right from the Teams interface. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's say I wanted to add, maybe another row of data, another set of data here. Next row. So currently I'm editing the file, and if Vanessa jumped in, I would see an icon for Vanessa's name, her account within the app, and she can actually go ahead and make edits to the file at the same time. I would just have a little notifier icon showing that she's editing the file. And if the file gets out of hand, there is versioning history. So version history could take you back to a previous version in case a mistake was made, then you want to revert the file back. So sorry, Vanessa, I wasn't sure if you were able to open the file.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to juggle through the Teams to find the document.
No worries.
It's in files, you said?
Yeah, and
I see it. Okay, I'll do it really quick.
Oh, there we go. So now we see your icon, and we see a little bubble for where you're working.
You can see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we see the ellipses now. We see that you're okay. You just entered some. Awesome. So I just wanted to show everyone, an example of real-time file collaboration. And this is how you can work on a file as a team. Multiple people can do this. You can close this out. You can also choose to open the file in the more comprehensive browser app, or download it. And in some cases, you can open it in the full Excel desktop app as well. So I know that the time is running a little bit short. I wanted to leave a few minutes for questions as well. So what I'll go ahead and do now is just kind of like, round out the presentation. We spoke about the general Teams interface, Teams and channels view, the chat view. One other thing here is the activity view, and the activity. This is basically your activity feed. So, for example, if anyone does an at mention, kind of calling you out, shoulder tapping you, you will see that here with an at symbol. That I see here that Vanessa has mentioned me. This is something I should probably get back to, and some of the other back and forth communications, basically the data feed for this team, for any team that you're a part of. So any sort of important messages will be flagged here at the top with a notifier, either at or unread, etc. The feed could be changed to look at either all feed or just my activity, just my messages. And you can filter and search as well. Sorry guys, my screen is a little blocked, so I'll just move this down a tiny bit. The search bar is handy as well. You can search for a specific text in any previous chats or in team or one-on-one chats. You can search for people. You can also, for example, start a new chat by doing an @ mention. I heard, maybe it's not working for me. Either way, you can search for text. There's also a function that allows you shortcuts. So it's the slash or the // I guess you could say. So if you do that in the search bar, you get a bunch of shortcuts basically to, for example, change your status, set your status to busy or DND, do not disturb, go to your files, join, etc. So just a bunch of shortcuts in the search window. And then finally, if you click on your icon, your profile icon here, you can change your own status. This picks up your status from Calendar, Outlook Calendar. It's fully integrated with O365. So if you are in a meeting, it'll show you as busy. If you're presenting your screen, it'll show you as do not disturb. And you can manually as well set this to other things like be right back or to appear away, appear offline if you want privacy. Set it for a specific duration of time, or reset your status to go back to whatever O365 picks up as your calendar availability for this time. That's that. I would just again remind people that the mobile app is very good as well. It lets you do pretty much all of these things on the go. You can join meetings, have calls through Teams, etc. over the network. So that's a great tool as well. I just want to leave a few minutes for questions, Vanessa.
Yeah, we actually have an interesting one that's not just related to Teams, but kind of how everything integrates together. And where is it best to work on files, in Teams, in SharePoint, or in OneDrive? And I know that question, like they all use files differently, but I was wondering if you could clarify how they all work in those respective tools.
Oh, sure. Yeah, another great question. So again, OneDrive is really meant as a private personal storage. Think of it as your home drive, right? Just the cloud version of your personal home drive where you can store files that are really yours, and it has some sharing ability, so you can share those files with colleagues, but I would avoid using it for departmental sharing. Teams and SharePoint are more for the work group or departmental sharing scenario where things that you post, you upload are available to the group. As a group. So, in essence, it depends on that use case, whether you're working on a file individually or if it's meant to be shared with your department. But as far as, how you work with them, once they're in Teams and SharePoint are really the same thing at that point. It's just a different way of looking at it. The Teams interface gives you sort of like a basic view of the files and folders. And if I want to do more with that, organize them, or get more details, I would go ahead and open in SharePoint. And you can also click on Add a Shortcut to OneDrive, which adds a shortcut to this repository in your own OneDrive view. So there is a blending of the two to some extent. Anything else, Vanessa?
We just got one. When we create a channel under a team, is it also automatically creating a file folder in SharePoint?
Yes. So if we create a folder another channel, within the team. Oops, sorry. So for example, at the top level, this is my general or top level general channel view. But if I place files in some of these other channels, they will have their own folder under this top level heading. And you can see that better, once you do go and open it in SharePoint.
And what is the default storage size?
So per file, it's quite large. O365 gives us a lot of storage space. Your file could be, I believe, up to 200 megs. If anyone needs a file that large, but it can handle a large file. And the overall repository for the whole team, for example, is many terabytes. It's huge. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's in the terabytes range. So you get a lot per team.
Awesome. Well, I know we're at time. We have a couple more questions and a few more coming in, but what I'll do for the people whose questions you didn't answer, I do have all of your questions recorded. I'm gonna put the answers in the follow-up email that I sent to everybody. That's gonna include this recording and other helpful links about where you can go to learn more about Teams and how to use specific features in it. But thank you guys so much for sticking around a little after time to learn more about Teams. And a big thank you to Rafael for teaching us more about it.
Thank you so much, folks. And thank you, Vanessa. Yeah, feel free to, pass any questions to me and my team as well. We'll be happy to answer any remaining questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Take care.